To change a condenser fan motor, to identify it, we need the product number of the unit if it's a carrier unit, or the model number if it's a different brand. Some units require the serial number also. Okay, we have an issue with the air conditioner, so the first thing we're going to do is shut the power off to this unit. It's just a pull-out disconnect, but that doesn't completely kill power to the unit. That's the 230 volt. We have a 24 volt power supply that comes from the inside unit to this outdoor unit. We've shut the power supply off inside so we don't short anything out. If you don't do that, if you get the wrong wires together, you can blow traces off a circuit board, burn up a transformer, blow a fuse, or blow up a thermostat. After shutting the power off, the first thing we need to do is disconnect the wiring for the motor. It's this black wire right here, this yellow wire that connects to the capacitor, and this brown wire that connects to the capacitor. Those are your fan motor wires. They need to be removed first thing. Be sure and note where the wires are connected. This yellow wire can either be on the capacitor or it can be on the contactor. You want to make notes of the terminals that they go on. There are 4 screws that hold this bracket down that we need to remove in order to remove the fan motor. Once you get those 4 screws loose, you can pick this bracket up off of here, being careful not to damage the fan blade. Kind of turn it up at an angle. You can check your motor for play. If there's any play in those bearings, that motor is definitely bad. Make sure the power is off before attempting this. In order to take the fan blade off, you'll need to loosen this set screw. Back it out so you can spin it. You'll reach inside here with the crescent wrench and get on the flat of that shaft. Hold that shaft solid and kind of wiggle that blade. Pull up on it as you do, and that blade will pull right off. When you put it back together, put grease under there, and it'll make it grease that shaft real well, and it will make the job easier the next time you have to do it. In order to remove this motor, there are 4 nuts that hold the motor on. They cover the mounting studs on the motor. You take these 4 nuts off, and this motor should drop right free of this mounting bracket. Pretty easy job. When you put it back together, be sure to put a little grease on it or it will never seize, and make the job easier the next time you have to do it. The motor should come right out of the bracket just like that. In order to remove it completely, you've disconnected the wires on the other end. You'll pull these wires out through this piece of conduit, thread the new wire for the new motor back through the conduit down, and reconnect in the reverse order. We're reinstalling the motor. You start the lock nuts on the motor studs and tighten it down, and you should have that motor mounted. You've already got the wires pulled through the conduit, so they should be hooked up. So all we have to do now is put the fan blade back on it. Make sure that when you put the fan blade on it, that you tighten the set screw on the flat spot of this shaft. Otherwise it will burr the shaft, and it will be very difficult to take apart the next time that you need to replace this. Okay, we've fed the wires through the conduit, made sure the conduit is back in the hole where it goes. We've started the screws back in the bracket. All we got to do is tighten them down and put the cover back on the unit, and we're ready to go.